Today we enter the season of Hell's front porch. Get the hoses going, and so I don't have to do that while it's 100 plus degrees with a gabillion% humidity. And we're gonna get some things cleaned up because the squash bugs took out another plant. So let's do this, y'all. I have 5 70-foot long hoses that I connect together with Quick Connect, and there are shutoff valves in a couple of different places so that once I turn on the water, I can make sure it's only going as far as I need it and it's not continuously running. There are links in the description below to the ones that I use.
Wait for it.
My butt hurts now. Is squash bug damage. Those little rat freaking bastards. So you may notice how thick my tomato plants are. Yes, they start out super tiny. You're like, oh, this mini will fit here. Let me correct you now. Do not think that they are not going to grow, because they are going to grow and they are going to go absolutely crazy. This is actually a very tiny harvest. We had just done a huge harvest the day before, and right now I'm just trying to beat the heat. All right, before we start the week of sitting on Hell's front porch, we got our very first sugar baby watermelon. At least that's what the seed packet said it was. This seemed a bit bigger than a sugar baby watermelon. So that to me does not look like the size of a sugar baby watermelon. However, I will happily eat it. We are having a cookout tonight and inviting my mom over. So hamburgers, hot dogs, and watermelon. Oh, and my mom's making homemade potato salad. So that's going to be awesome too.
Little did you know, the watermelon was not right.
I'm hoping it's catching the sound. They are loud this morning. And yes, I'm going to use the camera to whack the spiderwebs out of my way. Spiderweb whack. A lesson learned on the greenhouse area. Do not plant squash where you need to walk. That is not weeds. That is all Jaxby little pumpkin. I thought it was only supposed to do one vine. I was wrong. And it has now taken over. We also have a watermelon vine. There's sugar baby watermelons that have taken over the other side. Because even though we're on Hell's front porch, they still got to be let out. Hi, Elvis. We whack all the webs. Okay. Basically, I am filming this so that the camera catches all the webs before they hit my face. As much as I love my chickens, I dislike this part. The first thing in the morning where the webs hit me in the face. All right, we're gonna let the skull squat out. Ooh, I need to clean that. That's stinky. And then we're gonna get Elvis. Looks like they have plenty of water. Whoop. All right, Elvis, ladies, feel free to come out now. I also need to get their fans going in their coops. Yes, we have 2 coops because it was 2 sets of hens. And sometimes they don't like each other. Hold, just one moment, please. I normally collect eggs in the afternoon, but since we are entering Hell's front porch, I will be getting them in the morning now. All right, our next step is to go and water the garden like a crazy person because we're not getting rain, and the heat index today, I think that's what it's called, is 107 with our humidity. And if you're not from a place with humidity, be glad, because it is like walking into a bloody freaking brick wall when you walk out of the house. And it's a brick wall of sweat and ick. So no wig, no makeup, because it's all going to disappear the second I step foot outside. So we be just, this is basically what you get when I wake up. All right, I'm going to head out to the garden and I will see you there. I am watering the top of my plants. This is not how you are actually supposed to do this. However, I planted extremely densely, and I am not able to get to the base of a lot of these plants. I do try my best to get to the bases because that's where the water needs to be. The leaves do not necessarily need the water, so keep that in mind when you are watering your garden. And honestly, it does not need to be watered every day or every other day, especially if you don't have a drip system. It needs a really, really good water, maybe once or twice a week, and make sure to check your soil before you start that watering process. And when you don't have a watering system, you haul a hose everywhere. I am honestly way more worried about my potted plants than the ones in the ground. But the reason we brought out the basket is because just in case I had to grab something, which I do because there's okra right behind the camera. That is ready. And we're grabbing this now because by the time we come back out to harvest, it's going to be way too big and woody to use. The rest should be fine. All right, let's get out of the heat because it is getting nasty already, and I don't think it's like 7:30 yet, and it's still nasty. All right. Oh, it wasn't recording that. Basically, I just put the kitchen sage on the trays, and we're gonna go put it into the freeze dryer, and I forgot to hit record. So that's what we're doing right now. Okay, since I forgot to record all that, and now my camera looks a little wonky. That's weird looking. Okay. We're headed into the garage to put the things in the freeze dryer. There's a huge web. Use the foot. Oh, okay, that hurt. And we are ready to load it up. Yeah, ignore the messiness. One moment, please. I will never, ever, ever claim that I am a graceful human being. Okay, these are cold, but it's toasty and it kind of feels good. Whew. Alright, we're just gonna get these all put away and then shove some more into the freeze dryer. Easier way to do this, by the way. And there's just going to be more sage on these, so I'm not even going to bother clean them up because it's the same thing. So I believe we have enough sage for the year and probably the rest of our lives. And this is kitchen sage. So this is the edible sage. This is not white sage. It's a huge mess. This is not compacted down as much as other herbs do. And I can't fit my hand in here. because it's not a wide mouth jar. It's sticky. Just a couple of different ideas of what you can use sage for is a sage and butter sauce, sage roasted chicken, some sage and onion stuffing. You can use it with butternut squash and sage risotto, just to name a few. Some paper towels in case I can fit the Genovese basil on here. As a side note, sage is a great medicinal herb. It helps with cognitive health. It has antioxidant properties. It's anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It helps with menopausal systems. It aids in digestion. It helps with sore throat relief, skin health, and anxiety. I should have done the basil first. Oh, this is not Genovese basil. That is why. This is not what I wanted. This is why we should mark things. Oh, he got wilty too. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it because it still smells good. We'll see how it comes out. It's not like I don't have plenty at this point. All right, well, I wish that was prettier, but it's actually kind of pretty still. But, oh well. It is what it is. I'm all sticky. All right, let's go get this in the fridge jar. Just so you know, if you forget your vinegar when canning, this is what happens. So I'm gonna try to get all this crap off. I put them away. These are what I was going for. So our herbs are done. And we do not have any more to pick right now. I did go out and check on the garden with the inappropriate shoes. That was gross. I am in the middle of the country, and yes, I don't like bugs. Shoot me, it's just is what it is. So we have our Genovese basil is dried, and the last of our kitchen sage is done. There probably will be more because I did go out and check on the garden today, and it is flourishing. I think it's digging the massive heat and me leaving it alone for a hot minute. So I'm just gonna get things put away. It looks like I had a mulberry. Not a mulberry, it's not a mulberry, it's an elderberry, but looks like one snuck its way into my Genovese basil. So let's get you guys flipped around and I can do the herb thing again. All right, just a side note on basil. It is also a medicinal herb. It is anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, antimicrobial. It's anti-stress. It's a digestive aid. It helps with respiratory health and heart health, blood sugar regulation, and pain relief. And one other thing I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, so I will not say that one. And this is why I use my freeze dryer. I do hang up some herbs, but not a whole lot. Because we have 3 dogs and 5 cats in this house. The amount of hair that floats around in here does not do well with drying herbs to hang them in the house. Hanging herbs to dry in the house. And this is also why I clean my kitchen 24/7, because I refuse to cook anywhere where I see anything like that would be gross. So let's get on to getting my kitchen cleaned up so that I can cook tonight, because my daughter and I had a little bit of fun last night in the kitchen. It's a little messy. This has been a lot of avoidance on getting things, my seeds organized. Not just avoidance, but also waiting for packages to get here. So I have some extra time this morning, and this is just how it's gotta go. I got to do this because we are in the midst of garden planning for next year, and I got lots of things. These photo boxes are fabulous for organizing your seeds and just knowing what goes where. And then if you do have to take your seeds out to the garden, you're not going to get them wet and they're completely protected. And they're easier to find because they're brightly colored. But I think what I'm going to do is separate out the herbs, the food, and the flowers. Because I'm probably going to be buying more seeds. Because seed hoarding is a thing, I guess. Good Lord. And they're color coded, but I'm not really going to pay attention to the color coding. Because right now I just need to get them out of the random boxes and into a place where I know that they're at. And this will tell me what I still need to order, because I do know I need to order some Tommy Toes tomato seeds. And this way I will know if I need to order anything else. Dude, not the coffee. Not the coffee. You're cute. This is Lilith. She's a little crazy, but we love her anyway. If you are just starting out with starting a garden or growing flowers or herbs or just basics you're wanting to keep in your house, let me forewarn you now, if you fall in love with it, you are going to have a seed hoard. And you need a way to organize that seed hoard. So I have linked these photo boxes in the description below, just in case anybody wants to grab them. They'd probably be really cool for like jewelry. My mom makes jewelry, so I don't see why she doesn't use some of these, except that it can rattle around and she makes kind of expensive jewelry. So there is that. So on the other side, just organization in general is going to be extremely important as you're going to plan a garden. Yes, we all have plans, we have ideas, but we need to write them down and keep them organized so that we remember them later. Here in a bit, I'm going to go through how I'm writing out my notes and just little things that I have learned. And I will have an upcoming video on organizing and prepping for the 2024 garden, because that is the season we are in currently. I do have to find better places for my nasturtiums next year. A lot of them will be in the squash patch because squash bugs do not like nasturtiums. So there are a couple of things different we're going to be doing with the squash patch next year. It's a thing. So my mini velociraptors are going to go after the squash bugs next year. That's my plan. All right, one more thing off our list during this massive heat wave. Yes! We are giving the garden a rest during this heat wave. However, there is okra, and you cannot let okra go, or it gets to where you can't do anything with it. So I did go ahead and grab the okra yesterday, and I've cleaned it and soaked it and done all the things. So I'm just going to get it chopped up and put into freezer bags, and I'm collecting enough to separate it out into the amounts that I will need for cooking later on this year. So let me get you flipped around and we can deal with ooey gooey okra, because yeah, I used it a lot in the base of soups, and there's a cat petting herself on the camera. Luckily they're very good and they stay off my countertops 99.9% of the time, unless there is a moth. That is the only time I cannot control them on my countertops. But I also clean my countertops like 50 times a freaking day. So there's that. All right, let's get into this. So you may be wondering what all okra can be used for. Actually, it's one of the key ingredients in a classic Louisiana Creole dish, what everybody would call gumbo. You can also do a curry okra, fried okra, which my mother absolutely loves, an okra and tomato stew. Like the base of my soups are basically okra and tomato. And I found out that you can pickle okra. I have never tried this. I do not know how that would go. And this comes in from earlier, where I am taking my notes from this year's garden with some things that I have learned. Like if I plant my okra with my pumpkin and my squash plants, it does extremely well. And the okra can get super large without getting woody. I also learned that chickens like to eat squash bugs, so bonus. Then I learned that the majority of the tomatoes I like are indeterminate and not determinate, which means we now have to figure out a whole indeterminate tomato thing. All right, let's go do our first harvest since the heat wave began, y'all. I'm a little excited to get back in the garden because I'm not going to die now, and it's awesome. Oh, it looks a little neglected. Ooh. We got some things going on. Oh, I see a lot of tomatoes. Oh, my echinacea's looking pretty. More tomatoes. Whew. We got a lot to do. Check it out. Oh, look at her. Isn't she pretty? She's getting big. What are you, little guy? Oh, I already got buzzed. It's pretty, but I don't know if it's poisonous, so we're not going to touch it. She's a biggin'. So yes, and this is why I wear gloves when I garden, because there are a ton of poisonous things where I live. We really live fairly close to swamps. So since I don't really know bugs all that great, I do wear gloves when I garden, no matter how hot it is. Y'all, later we'll go through how many peppers we got from this tiny harvest. Like, this is just the beginning of peppers ripening in our area. The amount of peppers out there right now is completely asinine, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I also am in kind of the same situation with the tomatoes. I may have overdone the tomatoes. We have 3 freezers, and the majority of them is full of full-on tomatoes right now because I have not had time to process all of them. Oh, I am disappearing behind a wall of tomatoes while my husband is in the front trying to dig out all the tomatoes that he can find and clear out some of the extra growth down at the bottom. Let me just say, my husband is not a garden guy, and when he was in there picking the tomatoes, he was like, I know this is a weed now. You're totally a weed. Out you go. He was so happy about it. It was awesome. And this is what happens when you overplant your tomatoes and then about 90% are indeterminate. You just have to sacrifice some so that you can get through your garden. Lesson learned, don't overplant, plant way less next year, but we're not going to let a whole bunch go to waste this year. I do have plans to do a lot of canning projects to the point I took 2 weeks off work just to do canning. And now we're cleaning up the latest victim of the squash bugs. I will figure out how to kill these little bastards. So, today, and I might have overdone it, this is what we got after a week of not harvesting because of a heat wave. I don't even know how many tomatoes. I'm not counting all of the tomatoes and cherry chadwicks because they're super tiny. But this whole basket, and this whole basket, and there are more that we still need to go out and get. Then we got a ton of chili peppers. Ooh, shiny. I don't remember what type of pepper these are, but they're like giant. It starts with an M. I don't remember. And then our green peppers are coming on strong. This is a small portion of what's actually out there right now, but they weren't quite big enough. And then we had to take out the pumpkin plants because they were covered in squash bugs and it was dying. So These are the Jack B. Littles that I could save. Then we have some echinacea, some... Why can I never remember what they are? And I really, really like them. Gladiola? These are not gladiolas. Oh my God. Again. I did it again. Okay. I'll remember later. And then a little bit of okra with a little baby spider on it, because I brought a spider inside with me. That's not a spider. He doesn't have enough legs. Excuse me while I go murder something. And I'm hoping my husband's super loud music does not get me a copyright strike. I'm hoping nobody can hear that. All right, time to go get it processed, and it did feel good to be out in the garden. That was fabulous. I did love that. It was awesome. But now for the still somewhat fun part is to get it all processed and put away so that I can start my canning project and do my other projects today, because there's a lot to do. And it's already past 10 a.m. So let's get to this. Needless to say, I did not get my entire to-do list done during the heat wave, but that's okay. We don't always get everything done exactly when we want to get it done, and it just is what it is. We will get to it eventually. So we are just starting off with getting everything cleaned up, packing up the chili peppers because I can easily freeze those and get those done. I'm also working on a canning project this day, so I went ahead and got the green peppers chopped up and ready to go. Then it's just cleaning up the pumpkins and making them shiny and absolutely adorable. And that is when the tomato hell begins. At this point, there was a quick break because my husband distracted me with apples dipped in caramel sauce. Okay, so one of my neighbors found a Ziploc baggie that holds 2 gallons worth of stuff. So we fill up a 2-gallon bag full of Tommy To's tomatoes. To say that Tommy To's is prolific is a complete and crazy understatement, y'all. Like, I will really be growing this next year because they are not only prolific, they are super sweet and they are just amazing. I cannot wait to try to make a spaghetti sauce out of them. And this concludes the week of hellfire. It was a very hot week. I'm very glad it is over and that I got to go and enjoy my garden and get all the things out. Now they are clean and we wait for this to ripen and do the other things, and get them put away. And that was a lot of freaking tomatoes. Oh, and we got 16 bell peppers. I have it written down over there. 62 chili peppers. 2 of them are cone giant thingies. And then 13 of the Jack B. Little pumpkins that we were able to save from the squash bugs. Thank you so much for joining me this week in the crazy that was this week, because we couldn't really get out to the garden and do the normal garden things. I appreciate you spending this time with me so much. Please like this video by casting a spell on that like button, boop him on the nose. If you could please go ahead and subscribe, that would be fabulous. Thank you again. I hope you have a blessed and magical week, y'all. Bye.